Welcome to SVGTV News for Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. This country is said to be making strides to become accounting compliant under the International Financial Reporting Standards, the IFRS. This was demonstrated at the IFRS Updates workshop held earlier today at French's House, where a number of financial practitioners, including accountants, finance directors, controllers, managers, and audit practitioners were in attendance. The seminar, which was organized in collaboration with the SVG Cooperative League and BDO Eastern Caribbean, was held under the theme Implementing New Accounting Standards, IFRS updates for financial institutions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Vice President of the SVG Cooperative League, Harold Lewis, said the seminar is in keeping with the new international accounting standards, which would be implemented in January 2018. Lewis pointed out that a good understanding of the guidelines and early adaptation is key for smooth transition towards implementation.
Regulators are continually calling for more extensive, relevant, and transparent disclosure. IFRS-compliant financial information is an essential tool for encouraging high-quality accounting reporting framework. A good understanding of international financial reporting standards is therefore critical to applying these principles. In keeping with our theme, implementing new accounting standards, IFRS updates for financial institutions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, today's workshop is geared towards helping participants keep abreast of current, effective, and forthcoming requirements of international accounting standards and interpretations, as outlined by the International Accounting Standards Board.
Outlining in details the changes that will occur with the new international accounting system, Ruben John, who is a partner of the accounting network BDO Eastern Caribbean, said there are 3 specific areas of revisions being looked at. John noted that the first IFRS change will significantly affect what is termed as revenue recognition.
Next standard we'll be looking at is IFRS 15, which deals with revenue recognition. That's a replacement for IAS 18. It's also a comprehensive realignment, a comprehensive change from the way revenue was reported prior or up to now. And therefore, again, we would be expected to look at our systems, look at the personnel, the management reports that we generate, and also ensure that we are able to process the transaction, summarize and report the information from this transaction in a manner that will enable us to comply with the implementation of this new standard when it's implemented.
The BDO Eastern Caribbean partners said that the second change in the IFRS accounting, to which SVG is making strides to be compliant, will affect aspects of balance sheets.
The third standard we'll be looking at is IFRS 16, and that deals with leases. You will be aware that one of the major issues with around the era of the financial crisis, the time of the financial crisis, was the issue of off-balance sheet transaction. People having significant finance lease and reporting them as operating lease, and the other way around. What have happened is that significant omission of disclosure would have resulted in financial statement that distorted the position of these businesses. So the standard setters, they have gone through a comprehensive realignment and improvement of the standards on lease. And it's going to affect every one of us. Most of us have, if we don't have a financing lease, we have an operating lease. And now we should leave the operating leases off the balance sheet, of the financial statement. Now, under these new standards, they have to be included.
John said the third standard of financial accountability to be implemented by the IFRS will change the way financial statements are prepared and emphasize the importance of adapting to the new regulations early.
It is going to change the way financial statements are prepared, the way banks, credit unions, insurance companies, and all businesses that deal with investments, accounts receivables, loans receivables, shareholders loan, and similar instruments. The way we account for these items and the way they're treated in the financial statement will change drastically. The change is expected to take effect from January 1st, 2018. However, because financial statements are reported on a comparable basis, businesses are expected to have what you call early adoption. In other words, you should be looking at the implementation from 2017. Otherwise, your comparatives will be off when you get to 2018.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is dedicated to the cause of environmental probity, as well as ensuring that the nation is viewed as a green country. That's according to Minister of Economic Planning, Camilo Gonzalez, as he spoke at a recently held media conference on the government's ban on styrofoam products. Minister Gonzalez said the decision was made after several factors and legislations were examined, and added that coupled with other initiatives which the government implemented, the regulations will propel SVG in the right direction.
We have taken the decision in line with the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' thrust on environmental issues, and in our thrust to make St. Vincent and the Grenadines a green island, to ban the importation of styrofoam products. And this must be taken in the context of our efforts in renewable energy, solar energy, geothermal energy, our banning of the hunting of turtles, and it must be seen as part of this thrust in which we're trying to position St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a green island for its own good. It's a good in and of itself, but also it is important as we position our country in the eyes of the international community.
Minister Gonzalez also expressed confidence that the regulations will see SVG become a world leader as it relates to protecting the environment.
Fine and good for us to say, woe is me. The world is contributing to my environmental malaise. But we also have to show the international community that on matters related to the environment, we have our own commitment and we have our own dedication to environmental probity and to proper care of our environment, of our oceans, and of our own sustainable development going forward. So I think that I applaud Guyana for being the first in the region, and I hope that now that we have joined Guyana, there will be a momentum and a critical mass in the Caribbean region towards the banning of these styrofoam products, and that we can be world leaders in protecting our natural environment and our oceans going forward.
The Economic Planning Minister, however, noted that there is still a need for more public education on the regulations to ensure that everyone knows what is required of them. Minister Gonzalez used the opportunity to explain some of the provisions of the regulations which took effect on May 1st.
May 1, the regulation comes into place. Importation of styrofoam cannot take place after May 1 unless you place your order before that. Styrofoam can continue to be sold by vendors of styrofoam until the end of January, and also can continue to be used and sold by food service providers up until the end of January. On February 1, 2018, there should be no styrofoam in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that is what that particular piece of legislation says. Moving from styrofoam, and I want to say that I'm very, very, very proud of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for acting in a forward-looking manner on this very important environmental point.
As they continue to build this country's renewable energy capacity, the Promoting Access to Clean Energy Service PACES project in the Energy Unit has collaborated with the Ministry of National Security to install a 50-kilowatt solar PV system at the Bilal Correctional Facility, which was officially launched on Tuesday, May 2nd. The event was attended by government officials as well as staff at the facility and representatives of PACE project and the United Nations Development Program. There was also a tour of the soon-to-be completed female prison at the Bilal location. Nikita Tony has more in this report.
Intended to not only reduce the operational cost of the Belle Isle Correctional Facility, but also contribute to the mitigation of climate change, a 50-kilowatt solar PV system has been installed on the roof of the kitchen at the facility. At the official launching ceremony on Tuesday, May 2nd at the facility, the Director of the Energy Unit, Ellsworth Dakin, while outlining work being done to have a greater penetration of renewable energy here in SVG, expressed his elation to see another PACES project on the ground.
Reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by exploiting our indigenous resources. We are blessed in St. Vincent. Hydro, solar, possible geothermal, and many more. 50 kilowatt system will save an estimated $38,000 annually, the payback of about 6 years, and it demonstrates the utilization of roof space. I ventured into a rehabilitation program for the inmates. They participated in the installation of the solar PV system, which was good, and I think this is a good effort that the government has made, utilizing the inmates and trying to teach them something that they could go outside and practice.
Commenting on the development of prison facilities here in SVG over the years, Superintendent of Prisons Brenton Charles outlined that the solar PV system will indeed aid in the prison security and rehabilitation efforts.
Greatly enhance our efficiency at the prison, greatly reduce our energy bill, and would help us in terms of our new programs, because almost all the programs that would enhance inmates' rehabilitation and so forth would need some source of power. And this would enhance that, and we would certainly maximize and continue to develop our inmates and so forth.
Outlining that his organization is pleased to partner on such a great initiative, representative from the United Nations Development Program UNDP, Jason Lacobiniere, pointed out that SVG is among the leaders in the region in the transition towards renewable energy.
Undoubtedly, this transition will not be easy. With around half of St. Vincent's energy being used to generate electricity, and much of the remaining required to move people and cargo across the country, achieving the emission reduction target will require a strategic combination of harnessing renewables like geothermal and solar energy, developing creative policies to reduce consumer energy demand, and creating a sustainable transport sector.
In his address at yesterday's event, Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, outlined that the project forms part of the government's effort to achieve the target of becoming 60% renewable by 2020. Noting that the cost of the project stood at $256,243.04, PM Gonsalves highlighted his desire to have an even larger system present at the facility.
Expected payback time is just over 6 years, and the lifespan of the system is 25 years. It will reduce the bill from 23 to 20, and hopefully, and hope PACE is listening, that we could enhance the capacity further, and there's, of course, we get in the female prison too.
In acknowledgement of their assistance in completing the project, Certificates of appreciation and achievement in practical basic solar PV installation were presented to 4 inmates, while 4 correctional officers were presented with certificates of training the Belle Isle Correctional Facility solar electricity users training course. The event also featured a tour of the female prison, which is currently under construction at the Belle Isle location. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Thank you, Nikita. In other news, attorney for the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, Queen's Counsel Stanley Starkey John, said he is prepared to present persuasive arguments to the court tomorrow in the election petitions case. The attorney, who spoke with our cameras after the first hearing on Tuesday, said he is ready to put all on the table during the 2.5 hour given by the High Court Judge, Justice Esco Henry. He said that her lordship's choice to hear the arguments concurrently is sensible. Justice Esco Henry ruled on Tuesday that the court has the case management powers to give direction of the motions to strike to be heard, as well as issues incidental to the motion, after which she will make a ruling.
With these matters, it's difficult to say you're confident, but we feel that we have persuasive arguments. We are preparing right up to the last while. We are doing the best we can to ensure that we give the court the fullest assistance in deciding the matter in the fashion that we are asking the court to decide it.
And lawyer for the respondents, Richard Williams, said he is also pleased with Justice Henry's deliberation and the decision to move forward with the preliminary points.
We were quite happy with the fact that the judge has decided to hear the motions to strike out first, because it's practical. I mean, it doesn't make any sense you waste money and expense to prepare for the hearing of the substantial matter, and there's an application to strike it out. So we are quite happy that the judge has decided to move forward with the preliminary points, and let's see where it goes from here. Well, that is really a part and parcel of the argument that Mr. John is making. I don't really think it has much merit, but as you say, we have to wait and see.
Tomorrow's court session is expected to commence at 9 a.m. Air Canada has added St. Vincent to its Caribbean route for the winter season, which the airline said is part of its continued expansion of its international network. Flights from Toronto to St. Vincent are now available for purchase at aircanada.com and through travel agents. The airline said the addition of the first long-haul international scheduled service to St. Vincent, along with the addition of Toronto to Belize, Montreal to Phoenix, Vancouver to Orlando, offers new choices for travelers looking to escape Canada winters. The weekly service to the Argyle International Airport will commence on December 14, 2017 through to April 12, 2018 on Airbus 319 Rogue. The Inter-American Cooperation on Agriculture, IECA, remains committed to the issue of accountability. That's according to technical specialist at IECA, Michael Dalton, as he spoke at an accountability seminar here recently. Dalton stated that the institution recognizes that such seminars present IECA with the opportunity to report to stakeholders on the activities which the organization has been involved with as it relates to supporting agriculture in rural areas, which forms part of their accountability mechanism.
Accountability is one of 8 key principles which the Institute holds dear. The others being to be innovative, purposeful, respectful, inclusive, transparent, and environmentally responsible. The Institute remains steadfast in its commitment to accountability. IECA's work is organized as a chain of outcomes achieved by means of cooperation projects and actions demanded by our clients, on which we are committed to reporting at regular intervals, including this accountability event. Our main programming instrument is our medium-term plan, covering the period 2014 to 2018. The medium-term plan details the main types of contributions that ICA will make to efforts across the hemisphere to develop agriculture and rural areas in the countries in which we operate.
Dalton said ICA faces many challenges, one of which is its small size, which affects its reach, but noted that by boosting the capacity of its stakeholders, knowledge and techniques can be shared with producers in respective member states.
Most of our actions fall into one of these areas. Our programming framework is, however, organic and may reflect from time to time other emerging priorities or urgencies which we are positioned to address. At the country level, the Ministry of Agriculture is our main client. This is clearly stated in our medium-term plan. Much of our work is in support of the priorities established by the Ministry. We are a small delegation. You all know that. It's myself and Rosette, basically, and the office attendant. But we are a small delegation who recognizes the limitations of our reach. We believe that if we can develop capacities in the ministries of agriculture, that the ministries will in turn, with their wider reach, be able to transfer knowledge and innovation to producers in the countries in which we operate. That is our strategy.
Whilst thanking all stakeholders for partnering with ICA, the ICA specialist noted that the private sector plays an important role in allowing the organization to make maximum use of resources available.
In the instance of the latter, we work with groups to ensure that we are able to maximize the use of resources. ICA, as an international development institution, financed primarily with quota resources from its member states, is limited in its financial capacity to respond to and support all of the demands of our clients. We strive, therefore, to focus our attention and efforts to effectively addressing those demands which we are positioned to address, and to work in partnership with like-minded institutions to ensure meaningful impact and sustainability of our country program actions. We wish to take this opportunity to thank those institutions that have partnered with us in 2016 to effect the interventions in agriculture. And we look forward to the continuation of such partnerships in 2017 and beyond. Thank you very much.
Scores of Vincentians came together at the Victoria Park last Sunday, April 30th, for the culmination of the 2017 Digicel SVG Gospel Festival. The 15-year-old event, which was made its mark on the national calendar of activities, continues to attract and showcase the talent of some of the best performers in the gospel arena. Organizers express gratitude for the continuing success of the festival, noting that this year was particularly challenging due to financial constraint. Nolisha Miller has more on Sunday's finale in this report.
Take the precious blood over me.
The culmination of the 2017 Digicel SVG Gospel Fest on Sunday evening, April 30th, was well attended, and the performances in song, dance, and drama were on point. Guided under the theme 15 Years of Glorious Celebration of the Gospel of Jesus Christ, Chairman of the SVG Gospel Fest Committee, Fidel Taylor, stated that despite certain challenges, the staging of a quality event was a must for Vincentians to enjoy.
This year when we started out, we had no money in the bank. The committee decided that we are going to step out in faith and trust God to come true. How many of you know that we have a God who will never leave us? We're determined that we will make it happen, and God began to put things in place.
And Taylor further commended the vast improvement of certain aspects of the creative arts, such as dance, which he said was an area that was struggling a few years ago.
I'm pleased to report that we have seen a significant improvement in the category of dance. At the dance showcase, we had 20 dance groups. We were struggling the other day, a few years ago, to get 6 dance groups. Now we have 20 dance groups. We also had a night of the bands Not so long ago, we were struggling to get 2 or 3 bands, and this year we were able to have a night of the bands with about 7 bands.
Stating that the 15-year festival has improved significantly since its inception, the Gospel Fest Committee chairman, however, noted that there are still some areas that require strengthening.
I think there is need for a closer relationship with the churches and the Gospel Festival Committee. As I often say, this festival does not belong to the Gospel Fest Committee. It belongs to the churches. You need to own it, and we need to have a conversation. For next year, we are even considering bringing back, Brother Paul, bringing back the award show. Right now, we are discussing it, and you will hear more about that later.
Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture Cecil Mackey seems to have some plans up his sleeves for the future of the festival and said his ministry will seek to provide the necessary support to harness the talent of the local gospel artists.
One of the things that we have identified is to promote and further develop our national festivals. It's okay to take on board from a ministry standpoint a creative industries coordinator, because I want to say to the artists who would have taken part in Gospel Fest 2017, we also want to give you the opportunity to take your craft and your skill to the next level.
Highlights of Sunday's Gospel Fest finale include performances by some of the best in the zonal showcase, along with other local and regional performers who did not disappoint patrons.
Hold on a man. I feel so pleasing in my heart right now when I see us, the older folks. The dancing that's better than the younger folks. Yeah.
The king is coming. The king is coming. Yeah, yeah. So everybody prepare. Somebody put a praise on it. Let's go. To make your praise glorious.
Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.